From the moment we're born, our gender identity is no secret. We're either a boy or a girl. Gender organizes our world into pink or blue. As we grow up, most of us naturally fit into our gender roles. Girls wear dresses and play with dolls. For boys, it's pants and trucks. But for some children, what's between their legs doesn't match what's between their ears. They insist they were born into the wrong body. This 17-year-old boy is biologically a girl.
It seems nature had played a cruel joke on me. Of all the horrible things that could have happened to me, why this one?
This 10-year-old boy lives as a girl. You know the word transgender. What does it mean?
A gender that wants to be the other one.
Is that you?
Yes.
And yes, this 6-year-old girl was born a boy.
We'll say things like, God made you special, because there aren't very many little girls out there that have a penis.
They are transgender children diagnosed with gender identity disorder. Their parents insist this is not a phase.
A phase is called a phase because it is just that. It ends. And this is not ending. This is just getting stronger.
Did he tell you it was
My child is a boy. It's not my fault that he was born transgender, and it's not his fault.
I've never known someone as brave as this child to face the world every day wondering who knows her secret and who doesn't.
Most transgender children still live in the shadows, hiding from a world that sees them as freaks of nature. Rejected by their families, many grow up hating their bodies, falling victim to high rates of depression, drug abuse, violence, and suicide. Today, hundreds of families who have found each other over the internet are taking a dramatically different course. They are allowing their children to live in the gender they identify with in order to save them from a future of heartache and pain. Good evening. I'm Barbara Walters. Tonight we ask you to open your hearts and your minds as we bring you the extraordinary and very intimate struggle of 3 American families. Each has a child who feels trapped in the wrong body. The parents' decision to go public with their children came after much private soul-searching and months of discussions with us and with professionals who weighed the effect on the children. But these are courageous and loving parents who want nothing more than to see their children happy and accepted for who they are. This program contains occasional explicit language and a few details which some parents may not consider appropriate for young children. But we think most of you will be moved, perhaps, to greater understanding.
I think we're a very normal family.
On the surface, Scott and Renee Jennings and their 4 children are a typical American family. They could be your neighbors. Their youngest, we'll call her Jazz, is a 6-year-old who has been living with a secret until now. Your child was born a boy, and now you call him a girl. Yes?
Yes.
Jazz is transgender and one of the youngest documented cases of an early transition from male to female.
This baby came out and basically said, this is who I am, I'm a girl.
I miss you.
From the moment he could speak, Jazz made it clear he wanted to wear a dress.
Say hello.
At only 15 months, he would unsnap his onesies to make it look like a dress. If you said to Jazz, good boy, what would the reaction be?
Always, no, Mommy, good girl.
What did you think, Scott?
I think initially I was in a bit of denial.
What was the first time that you had any inkling that this little boy, Jazz, was different?
The day she came up to me, and I'll never forget it, Barbara, she said, Mommy, when's the good fairy going to come with her magic wand and change, my genitalia?
How old was Jazz then?
2.
At 2, Jazz came to you and said, when is a good fairy going to, I guess, take off my penis? Is
Right,
what she was
and
talking
make it into a vagina. Yes.
What did you feel?
Just numb, frozen.
They wanted to believe it would pass. After all, even their rowdy twin boys had painted their nails growing up. But Jazz kept gravitating to girl things, insisting that his penis was a mistake. When Renee opened this manual used by mental health experts, she was shocked. Under gender identity disorder, Jazz met all 4 criteria for a diagnosis, including fantasizing about being the opposite sex.
Here I am,
He was only 3, and even their pediatrician told them they had a serious problem.
She said, yes, I believe your child has gender identity disorder, and I recommend you go to a professional. My mouth opened up, and you literally had to scrape me off the floor.
You are certain, doctor, that Jazz is a girl?
I can't say biologically, chromosomally, hormonally, but yes, very clearly, gender identity, female.
To confirm the diagnosis, the Jennings brought Jazz to Dr. Marilyn Volker, a therapist who specializes in sex and gender issues. How did you know that she was a transgendered child?
When we began to talk, and I used, whoops, the pronoun he, I was corrected. I'm a girl. I'm she.
Then Dr. Volker brought out anatomically correct male and female dolls.
I ask, and which are you like? Which is like your body? Jazz looks, and she says, this is me now. This is what I want.
No one knows why children like Jazz are transgender. There are only theories. Some scientists suggest that a hormone imbalance in their mother's womb gives these children's brains the wrong gender imprint. After the diagnosis, the Jennings explained the situation to their other children. In their home, they came to accept Jazz as a girl. There, he could wear a dress or dance as a ballerina. But in public, they kept his look more ambiguous or gender neutral, especially at preschool.
But this child wouldn't give up, was not happy until she could express herself indoors and outdoors.
Every day became a struggle. The preschool allowed Jazz to put on a pretty top, but he had to wear pants. Officially, Jazz remained a boy.
Hi, cutie. You gonna show me how you dance?
When Jazz was 4 and a half, there was a dance recital. It was a disaster.
Disaster. She wasn't allowed to wear a tutu like the rest of the girls. And she just kind of stood there and snapped her finger and, did tapping thing with the toe and just looked so sad. It was heartbreaking to watch, really heartbreaking.
The dance recital was a turning point. The Jennings then made the most difficult decision of their lives to let their son become their daughter.
Happy birthday!
On his 5th birthday, Jazz wore a one-piece bathing suit. He was now she, and an innocent pool party became a coming out.
That was the first time in front of everybody. She, along with our consent, announced to the world that she was a girl.
Did Jazz's friends think she was a boy or a girl?
They referred to her as a boy, but kids are very accepting at that age. They believe what you tell them. She's a boy, but she wants to be a girl, so we let her wear a bathing suit.
And the bathing suit did not show a bulge?
Yeah, it did.
But that didn't matter?
Well, all the kids knew she was a biological boy.
But the Jennings soon found that while they accepted Jazz as a girl, others questioned their decision.
Who loves you? You do. I always say that I'm in the front line. Jazz is protected because she's not getting the slack, because I'm putting out the fires before they burn her.
Is that why you're doing this interview? So that people will understand?
I want to pave the way for a better life for her and any trans kids. They didn't ask to be born this way.
When we come back, you will hear from 6-year-old Jazz, who has her own touching way of expressing her feelings.
I can be whatever I want to be.
"2020 continues with Barbara Walters.
Jazz Jennings keeps telling her parents that she's a girl, even though biologically she's a boy. She's transgender and one of the youngest documented cases of a child openly transitioning from one gender to another.
Renee and I are in 100% agreement as to how we should raise Jazz. We don't encourage, we support, and we just keep listening to what she tells us.
This child will come into my bedroom in the middle of the night. Mommy, Mommy, I had a bad dream that I had a beard and a mustache like Daddy, and I don't ever want to have a beard or a mustache. And I said, honey, don't you worry. Mommy will make sure that you'll never have a beard or a mustache.
Up, up, head down.
How does a 5-year-old biological boy begin living full-time as a girl? For Jazz, it meant growing her hair out, piercing her ears, and wearing dresses everywhere.
How do you feel about going to kindergarten today?
Even to kindergarten.
We felt that it would be a good time for her to come out of the closet because she's starting a new school, doesn't know anybody, and this is a perfect opportunity for her to switch the pronoun.
Yep, follow Mama.
At school, Jazz is registered as a boy. Her teachers know she's biologically male, but most of her classmates don't. She's lucky because there's a unisex bathroom and in sports, unisex teams. But even play dates are an issue.
Do you know how to play this game?
Can Jazz have sleepovers at other friends' houses?
I don't want to send Jazz over to anybody's house unless they know the truth. Nor will I let a child walk into our house and play with Jazz unless it's been explained to them.
Do you worry about her being taunted, teased, maybe even physically hurt?
Every day I'm afraid that I might get a call that something happened.
Look at you.
What we've tried to do is give her as much self-esteem as we can. We have older brothers and an older sister that are always looking out for her.
Hi. Can I come in your house?
Yes.
You want to show me in?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. People may wonder now why you are allowing Jazz to be seen on television.
I don't feel like you could capture the true essence of a child like Jazz until you see her in her environment doing things that she would normally do. It makes it much more believable.
Oh, how pretty. Jazz's bedroom is filled with girly things, dresses, dolls, and especially mermaids. That's a mermaid, right?
Right.
Here's another, lots of mermaids.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Jazz was so attracted to mermaids?
All of the male to female, younger transgender children are obsessed with mermaids. And I believe it's because of the ambiguous genitalia. There's nothing below the waist but a tail. And how appealing is that for somebody who doesn't like what's down there?
Why do you like mermaids?
Because they're different than us.
I see. How are they different?
Because they have tails.
So they're one thing on the top and something else on the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Shall we sit down and talk a little bit?
Okay.
Your mommy says you're special. And you are very special. Very pretty. Do you think you're special?
Yeah.
If people say to you, are you a boy or a girl? What do you say?
A girl.
Mm-hmm. I hear that you sing. Do you sing?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear you sing. Do you feel comfortable enough yet to sing to me? Or not quite yet?
Not quite yet.
Is there anything else in the room you want to show me?
That picture.
Shall I go get it? Okay. Tell me about this picture. Why is the little girl crying?
Because she wants to wear the dress to school.
And Mommy won't let her.
Yeah.
But now, does Mommy let the little girl wear a dress?
Mm-hmm.
Is the little girl you? Had you not done this, what do you think she would have been?
Very depressed. I think it would be a daily battle, and she would probably just be suffering. And what child should have to suffer?
Wanna go on the slide?
By any measure, the Jennings home seems a happy place. Kids play.
Mom! Stole my dollar!
Kids fight. For now, Jazz lives safely inside a bubble, but the enormity of their child's situation is not lost on her parents. How do you respond to people who look at Jazz and say, this is a little boy living as a little girl. How could you do this to your child?
I didn't do this to my child. This is the way my child was born. I'm not forcing anybody against their will to do anything. We check in with her all the time. I tell her, I say, Jazz, if you ever feel like you want to dress like a boy again, cut your hair, you just let me know. She goes, Mommy, why would I want to do that?
Just look how cute you were. Mommy
Renee, do you mourn the loss of a son?
I mourn the loss of the idea of my son.
I could just look at you all day. You're so cute.
But I do miss...
It's all right, tell me if you can.
miss the boy.
You miss the boy, the baby boy you had.
I had to pack up all of her clothes, her boy clothes. I see the pictures and the video. The child's gone. But there's a wonderful person now that's with us. Kiss, kiss. She always knows she's loved, always. And I tell her all the time, you know how much Mommy loves you. I just want you to be happy. It's just important for her to know that she has that I'm going to be there for her always. She's like, Mommy, can I always live with you? I said, absolutely. And that's like a security blanket for her to know that she has us no matter what.
Finally, Jazz felt comfortable enough to sing me a song. Whatever critics may say, if you think this child at age 6 doesn't realize what she may have to go through, just listen.
In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be. On the wings of my fancy, I could fly anywhere, and the world will open their arms to me. I don't know the rest.
Oh, but that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh, that's beautiful.